If we remember that our souls are ancient and that they have not always been incarnated in such wholesome and honest ego persona as ourselves, then a swift death here and now can be attributed to amended karma. After all, one of our past incarnations may have been strung up on a medieval torture rack and pulled apart until death ensued. Or, in more modern times, she might have died a slow, painful death in a hospital bed or left bleeding to death in a back lane. In this lifetime, however, as in the case of the Good Samaritan in Melbourne, it was estimated that a quick, painless death was the just reward for something beyond our understanding. Spiritualists say the world as we know it is only manifestation of what is organized in the cosmos. They say that the real world is the cosmic world because it is from there that come magnetized to us all the impulses, the minute ones and the massive ones, the good ones and the painful ones that shape the daily lives of everyone in our global communities and have done so since the Big Bang. All the world's a stage, Shakespeare wrote in As You Like It, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. What if, in a previous lifetime, the lawyer shot in the Melbourne incident had killed someone with a sword, with a gun, with an anvil, with a chest? Why not accept the possibility that this someone killed in the current time warp mirror reality turned out to be the gunman, towards whom he was inexorably magnetized through the catalytic energy of the woman in distress on that Melbourne street corner? A role reversal, if you will, in a tragedy played out according to the cosmic plan, but from a cosmic perspective. Who is the real hero? Who is the real villain? It is not for us to know. We cannot possibly know. The courts do not have the answer. From a spiritual perspective, any judgment passed on anyone in our world purely arbitrary. All we need to accept is that through the events interwoven in the huge tapestry that is our soul's life, karma is the unerring great adjuster. What we sow is what we reap. That is the certainty. What is totally uncertain is when and how often and how in the millennia our soul's incarnation will reap our harvest. Maria said to me one day that the world that, according to the Christian calendar, is a couple of 1,000 years old, is in fact nothing more than a perpetual masked ball where everybody's true identity is hidden by our ego persona, by their ego persona. And although there have always been councils and tribunals set up to punish wrongdoers and criminals, when these miscreants reincarnate under a different mask, they can no longer be identified as such, and they pass as innocent, as pure entities. Having said that, we can, here and now, identify evildoers in two ways. Either they are seen to repeat their evil deeds in a robotic way, or they sacrifice their lives for the benefits of others. They are amending their karma in this lifetime. If our world is only a mirror and we are only reflections of the real images, we need to turn the mirror around to look at events in reverse. There are three more points I would like to make most respectfully as I continue the deconstruction of karma, of the Good Samaritan in that news item I just read. Number one, because it is a karmic impulse that cost the lawyer his life, not the gun, and not his encounter with the killer, the energy baggage he will bring into his next incarnation will have been amended most positively. This man died while aiding someone, in this case the woman who, incidentally, was the karmically appointed catalyst. If it hadn't been for her presence on that pinpoint specific space on the street corner, this particular drama with these specific participants would never have happened. The impulse to be at the appointed time, at the appointed place, to participate in one specific event even if only as an eyewitness, is hardwired in our aura. It cannot be resisted. When destiny summons us, we go where we need to go. With the precision of homing pigeons, all 4 participants in the shootout came from wherever they were moments before, following their own impulse to come together on a couple of square meters right at the corner of Flinders Lane and William Street, while everyone else out of the 3,850,000 people in Melbourne were off stage. Number 3, the other man who attempted to intervene, shot 3 times in the upper body, was revealed later as a Dutch backpacker who just happened to be there in downtown Melbourne. He survived. In all likelihood, only a few persons, not necessarily the ones closest to both of these men, knew them as they really were in this lifetime at that particular point in time. And probably no one has a clue as to what these men were like in their previous lifetimes, as is usually the case for each one of us. Thus, the theory is that when in the eye of the storm, the more spiritually evolved the victim, don't mean here with do-gooders or religious zealots, the lesser the energy invested in the incident, which explains why some people stare death in the face but walk away against seemingly impossible odds.